365 days in a year. 24 hours in a day. Noticed anything special? Well, I didn't, either. Every day, every hour, every minute, things happen. But the world doesn't stop. In one universe, it was Aunt May. In another, it was Gwen, but for most, it was Uncle Ben. But they all said the same thing. It's not your fault. We've seen the story. But is that all there is to it? Couldn't we have done something to prevent it? To make it better? It's your fault. You're a mistake. You're the problem. Or, technically, it's your mindset. The first step in fixing a problem is accepting that there is one. The problem with us is we hate to take the blame, take responsibility, and we start pointing fingers when things go south. The fact is, one finger is pointed at someone, while the other fingers are directed back at you. So, who's the problem now? Most of us have jobs. Maybe you love it. Or, maybe not. Perhaps you have a boss you want to impress. You want a promotion. Or you're just doing enough not to get fired. I get it. That job fuels our lives. It pays our bills and maybe allows for some trips here and there. We may not love our jobs, but they enable us to do the things we love. And that's okay. But when problems arise, everybody starts pointing fingers. Here's my advice. The next time a problem pops up in your face, mind your own business. Maybe you have a boss who screams at you when deadlines haven't been met. Or you have a coworker who's a slacker, or he just pisses you off. That company is not yours. It's not your business. You have a teammate who always goes AWOL, and you're stuck covering that shift? It's not your problem. Just do your job. After that 9 to 5, it's over. Move on. You are not the heir to the business. Your business is what you make with your life, with your own time, not what they pay you to make. Focus on what you can build. Start a side hustle, nurture it, until it can cover your expenses, until it can be twice as much as your paycheck, and you don't need to depend on a paycheck anymore. Let this sink in. Having a job is not security. The company you're working with is not permanent. Your job isn't permanent. Your office best friend, nor your favorite manager isn't permanent. They might get promoted, or move on, looking for something better. There's a chance that the spot where your best friend sat before will be replaced by the new guy who could become your worst nightmare. Stop having that false sense of security. They also have mouths to feed and dreams to achieve. They don't need to consider you when the time comes. Think for yourself. If the message wasn't clear enough, let me repeat. It's your fault. You applied for that job, didn't you? That means working with a boss, a team, and possibly clients that are difficult to deal with. You put yourself in a position to be vulnerable. You sold your time to capitalists. Thinking of an excuse? Some say they were born poor and still are poor. Is that an excuse? Well, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, started from the bottom, so why couldn't you? We now live in an era of free information. The internet thrives, and the world is now more connected. It's now in the palm of our hands. Thinking that he's one in a million? I had a senior, back when I was in varsity. It had been 3 years since we last met. I swear, he looked like a scruffy, little troll, and now, he was well-groomed in business casual attire, riding an SUV. A complete zero-to-hero transformation. He's in sales now, and he shared his secret. He keeps visiting our competitions, not simply for the thrill of the game, but to connect. He knows that it takes a lot of discipline, commitment, and effort to keep going to these events, and that's his market. He knows where to find gold. It's like selling a Ferrari, compared to selling a Honda. Yes, a Honda can be cheap. But people can be cheaper. People keep looking at the car, but they all say the same thing. I'll think about it. You've talked with about 100, just to sell one car. While with selling a Ferrari, they'll just try to call someone up, and maybe make a sale within 3 tries. Although the market may only be less than 10% of the population, those who want it are sure to buy it. Now, we might be getting lost here, but to keep it short, my point is, you have to take control of your life now. You're an adult. Stop blaming the past, stop blaming your parents, and stop blaming your coworkers. And maybe, it's not entirely your fault either. Sounds nice to hear, right? Well, just for starters anyway. You don't have to be so hard on yourself. You were programmed that way. But now, you have to accept the fact that it's all your responsibility. And part of that responsibility is making decisions and knowing that you always have different options. The system taught you that mistakes are bad, and they are, but only if you keep repeating them. You always have a choice, and sometimes that choice involves going through with it, accepting it, but not allowing it to happen again. The next time someone in the office pisses you off, use that energy to fuel your mind for a one-way ticket out of the 9-to-5 cycle, maybe a side hustle, or a business. Maybe you're trying to get rid of bad habits or an addiction to smoking or gaming. Here's the trick: these addictions help clear your mind by consuming your time, so you should also engage in time-consuming tasks. Maybe instead of trading an apple for an apple, a banana could work. Perhaps you could simply walk around the park or jog. It may take some time to get used to. But consider this. It also took you several years to develop that addiction, so you'll need to put in consistent effort to try to replace it. The key here is to replace it, not get rid of it. The moment your schedule has gaps in it, your mind will automatically fill those gaps with that addiction. So, always keep yourself busy. And here's one final piece of advice. If you feel like something is pushing you back, maybe it's because you're moving forward. You will feel the wind against you the faster you go, and every setback you face is just a challenge to your success. You are the author of your own story. Don't let others dictate the narrative.